Hey, it is still just barely good morning out here on the 22nd of September. We want to give you a kind of an unscripted results of what that dicamba spill has done to our little ranch or farm operation down here in the Ponca Valley. So we're going to go around and do a little bit of viewing and kind of show you kind of some of the outcomes of this. And it looks like fall and frost been here of the trees that are close to the road. And the spill came right by us on top of this road coming around that curve, about 5 miles of it. We was kind of right in the heart of it. So this little film will just give you an update on all the little problems we had inherited from this. Yep. Here's some of the highlights of the trees that are kind of close to the road. Some affected worse, some not as bad depending on the tree variety, but they look like they've already been froze. We don't know how they'll be for next year. A lot of the fruit trees have had problems. And then I'll show you over here as we drive forward a little bit. The little smaller cottonwood trees, boy, they sure didn't like this. They look like they've been hammered, but that willow, I think that's a willow, it didn't affect them as bad as them little cottonwoods. And then over here in some little fruit trees, if you glance over top of our heads, back in there and you zoom in, it's really harmed a lot of trees. We don't know how bad it is, and some of the little trees down below, they shedded their leaves and never did grow anything back. We had another tree that done that, and we didn't get it filmed, and it was really amazing because it was a mulberry tree, and it actually dumped all its leaves off. I didn't know what happened to it. That was probably within a week after the spill, and we was naive of the spill. And then I said, gee, somebody spray around here or what? Well, then after the leaves all fell off, I thought it was dead. Well, then I'll be damned. We'll show you what that looks like now. Well, that's kind of what our garden looks like out there. We summer fallowed it, destroyed it. You've probably seen that in our first clip. There's a little apple tree that don't look very good anymore. He had a few little problems, but now he's got a lot. We ain't eating the damn thing off it, because looking at the tree kind of makes you like wonder, what? Now, you can see the smaller cottonwoods down in here, how it affected them. And we'll go for a little spin down in here. Zoom. And surprising, those trees kind of made them look more fuzzy, like littler leaves or something. It just does a little bit of stuff different to everything. Okay, here's some little fruit trees. We got quite a few of them planted down in there. I think there's about 18 of them. And they ain't looking so good. They lost a lot of their leaves, their little branches. I don't know just what's going to become of this. So, yeah, the cottonwood trees really showed the damage the most from that dicamba. And I don't know how they're going to be. And then we're really close to some other little fruit trees we planted. And some of them look like they're about perished. We'll get on and drive right by them so you can see them up close. Okay, now down in this little area here, there's a few weeds growing. But what Ray had planted for little fruits and those little grapevines and stuff, hell, they literally perished. And there's little signs of some of them up around here. And here's some more here that we had planted, and they don't look very good. They look like they're just dying. That one there's about dead, and their lips look dead. And there's some more planted down through there. And all of them, look, they just perished in there. And there's some little grapevines up in here. I think all of them are had it. So I can back up and get rid of this tree branch. Where the hell he's at. Okay, now here's some of the fruit trees we just put in. this year, and they didn't really do much. They leafed out like they did in the spring, and they haven't changed much at all. They're just, we don't know how that's going to do here. One of them had an apple on it, and by God, it didn't fall off. Yep. That was really interesting coming up, and we didn't get it filmed when it first happened, but this was probably about 3 or 4 days after the spill. Well, this tree up here, coming up, he literally lost about all his leaves. And then he went and he put his leaves back on about a month later, and a lot of them come back and they still curled up. And we still can't believe that tree done that. And see, if you look on the ground, there's still some of the leaves that's left from, well, we mowed it a couple times, but yeah, that was just unreal. That was a mulberry tree. Betty took pictures of the leaves, and there was 2 mulberry trees in there. He's kind of looking kind of tough. We don't know how he'll turn out. You guys, little seedlings, they all just turned brown already. Yep. Yeah, a lot of this little area here, some of the little cedars, it kind of bugged them a little bit. I don't know how bad it's going to be, but this one here, he didn't like that dicamba shit at all. Some of them didn't mind it, but that one sure didn't like it. And then it kind of created a real mess for us to keep our little resort area cleaned up. We was to stay out here a couple months, and my goodness, did we get some damn weeds come up out of that mess. So this looks more trashier than normal. So anyway, I figured to give you a little glimpse of that as we go in and out, but we're going to be cleaning up here just pretty quick now. So anyway, that is a little bit of that. Now we'll take you over to the garden front. You can kind of see what that ended up like. Yep. Now in this little area here, what really shows the worst is the lilac bushes did not like the dicamba. And I don't know if they're going to end up being dead or how they're going to pan out, but they look really tough. Anything that was kind of a smaller tree really seemed to nail them bad. And then even up here where you've got a few fruit trees mixed up with the trees. Okay, and this little bunch up in here, there's a lot of them that look pretty tough, especially the grapevines in there. They look really tough. And then some of the choke cherries, it had some big choke cherries, but you know, it's really interesting. If you look around on the RA lines and around here and you glance around, there's a bunch of birds that hang around there, and after they ate a bunch of choke cherries, it seemed like the birds all disappeared too. So they kind of telling you something. The other thing that's really interesting, we ain't had any coyotes in the area since the spill. I don't know where they went to. They left. Pretty interesting, ain't it? See, this little area that's coming up here, that dicamba created about a 3.5 month delay to this. So we had to build a road into it, and the road's been built, maybe a month back now. And it really held up their home site, and then it held up order in the home because, like we said, shit, we can't work on nothing because, hell, we can't even be out in the air. We have to kind of stay in our homes. So this was an area that got delayed about 3 months. We'll show you a quick clip of this. Ann and Cameron had a lot of stuff they wanted to do. Well, it flubbed them up on doing a little building out here too. But this here's the little area that we're finally getting it back into perspective, but we're about 3 months behind. So this here's the little project where they're putting their little home that got set back about 3.5 months. And now we're just kind of getting into it to straighten things up and get things going, which we did get some of this done, but we planned on the home being here by now if things would have went to normal. So this was quite of a damn old ornery mess that a damn little dab of spray that leaks out can create such a mess. But anyway, this is part of the mess. Okay, here's Ray's little fruit tree orchard that he planted here was about 4 years ago. We've been watering, and this is the toughest it's ever looked. And Ann will probably zoom in on a few of the trees and show them to you as we go by. And we don't know if a lot of them are going to perish or just what they're going to do. But this was just really a shame. Hey, look at this. Now there's a weed in there. He ain't supposed to be there. Holy shit. You can kind of see what it does to fruit trees, that spray. And you know, this stuff is about a quarter mile away from where that spill was. It's just hard to believe this. And see, there's the potato bed. It's just swing around. You can look at that. There ain't nothing there. All got disc under. And it'll kind of show you a little bit what it's done too. That got a few little apples on it. Kind of okay. Now here we left some of the garden produce, and we kind of kept it watered and stuff. Tried to help it out a little bit, but we give up on it here in about the last probably 2-3 weeks. But you can see where the pepper plants, some of them never did do anything, and this one over here, he created some little peppers in here, but you don't know if you can eat the things or not. And here's a lot of their little peppers in here that are just kind of like a bunch of little, just a bunch of deformed crap. So we didn't try to eat any of this. And I don't know how these little guys here did. I think they rooted in pretty good. They must have found them, got some roots, but none of this stuff we ate. Because, you know, how appetizing is some of this going to look to you to go eat? You know what I mean? My goodness. What the hell what did that do to these plants? And then your pepper plants. I mean, pepper plants should be like this. And all we got is a bunch of little dwarfs. I mean, for sure put dwarfism in them. And then like the tomato plants, I mean, we're going to show you this. We had some tomatoes we planted here. Was that the 18th of July we planted the seeds? We'll take you down and we'll show you some that, what the hell, about 2.5 months old. About maybe 2. See, the 18th. Well, they're about 2 months old. Well, we're going to show you some 2-month-old tomato plants we planted the 18th of July. And the reason we planted them, we wanted to see what our air quality was like because they wanted like 10 grand for a monitoring station. I said, bullshit, we'll just plant some plants out there. We'll see how the plants grow. So after we seen the plants were doing pretty good, well, then we came out and we started doing a bunch of our summer work. But the tomatoes, I don't know if they'd be fit for anybody to eat, but the people who lost their spray, if they wanted to come and pick some of this stuff up and test it, they're more than welcome. We ain't going to eat it. Doctors told us, leave the shit alone. Well, we destroyed all of it, but Ray wanted to leave a little patch and see what they would do. And they was being watered. I mean, it ain't just these been short of water. They've been watered real friendly to where they could have came out of it, but you don't know if any of the poisonous stuff, if you should even eat it. And see what some of the little product is like. Well, let's get down in here and see what some of these little guys look like. They're kind of firm. They smell like a funny tomato. Here, smell that. What the hell does that smell like? I mean, it smells kind of like a tomato, but it's got a funny smell. And then they've got, I don't know, it looked like it got froze. It's little bubblies on there. Yep, I see what they mean. No good. Just about killing 2 of them. I see there's 2 of them trying to grow back. One little baby one coming. These were nice big plants here. Hell, they just died. You can see the leaves all fell off in that one back there. Ain't hardly nothing left to him. This one over here, he looked up and telling me that stuff really did a lot of the stuff we use. It really give everything a bad time. I mean, it's a destroyer. Hey, just before we go, let's do a little check in here and see what in the hell we got. Oh shit, here's one here. Let's see what in the hell these, oh geez, God, they look shitty as hell. Yeah. Ooh. He has a pepper smell, but my goodness, I don't know. What do you think? Is that a edible thing or not? I've seen such a damn little mess on there. What the hell this thing here looks like? Yeah, he got a bunch of black crap inside of him. Kind of related to this one here. Yeah, that's I don't know who'd want to harvest this shit to eat anyway. And here's one here. He popped. He's really had it. Oh my goodness, ain't that a mess? I see. Well, Ray, he left it here so we could witness for ourselves what things look like, and we're going to destroy this here in a little bit. What we're going to do with this, I think, is gather it up and burn it. I think we're going to burn this off. And his new trees he's planted, they had a few little plums, but everything just literally fell off. There was no harvest here at all. It just all turned into junk. And like this gonna do, he looks really bad. This tree here looks like he's croaking. And like this here is, I think this was like maybe a was that an apricot tree or something? I don't know, but I think it might have killed it. It looked like it's dying. Then we'll show you what it did to the bean field. And then swing it right around, okay, on. Now we'll show you the bean field. It's right out here. It just made a dwarfism out of that thing. And I'll show you what I mean by dwarfism. I think the boys might have lost half their beans, if not more. Mary's going to film this a little bit, and I'll walk out in there and give you an idea. Yeah. Okay, here you go. Okay, these beans, you come out in here a little bit, Mary. You can kind of see, I mean, they're clean, and hell, we had pretty good water. But normally our beans are like about that. That's just in a very and really good year, they're up to here. Well, these things ain't normal at all. And what they're going to have for a bean harvest, I don't think very good. Because this little guy here is like little baby. They kind of look like little baby beans. There's a seed out of that tomato. But see, the beans, I don't think they're going to be good. Hell, it might give them shit. I don't know what the hell damage is going to be. We won't know until we combine. But it's going to be bad. You can guys look at the whole field. Generally, when the beans are good, the rows are filled in. Hell, they all row like these. Shit, they're all about this tall. That's really a shame because, you know, this is probably better than a quarter of a mile from where that spill was. And it come over and it just took out the whole field. I mean, that's just unreal what that shit does. Yeah. I'll give you a quick little shot of like the little bean field, what it looks like. Really drying up bad, which they're kind of supposed to, but there should have been more than twice as tall as they are. There's a little spot in there behind that truck box that didn't look the worst. Up in there, see how that didn't even fill in them rows back in there? Get up towards the corn. And the corn, he's kind of, nah, I think fair, but he's going to have, well, we'll get up here, we'll show you. We got kind of a little clearing up in here. I don't know where people work out. Now, hopefully, we didn't have any damage bad to the corn. It's going to lower the yield, but it'll still probably be as good as about anything in the county on the average. But definitely the Beanfield really kicked that in the ass there. And I think there's some of that Dicamba, I think it's maybe used in the corn a little bit, but it's got to be used really early and then in a proper proportion. Well, you can see some of this kind of got in a little late, but yeah, a lot of this is really turning, but it should be getting ready to turn. But then you can kind of see we're out here where the grain bins and stuff are. You can kind of see the farm a little bit there. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. As far as the damage it done to us at our farm and the gardens and the plants and the trees and the fruit trees, we can't determine that because we'll just have to see what they come up with, if they come up with something that's fair or not. And then if they don't, well, I guess we'll have to see what kind of legal advice we run into or something. So anyway, we figured give you a little bit of a fall run of what the dicamba done to the farm. And Mary's doing a little filming on the farm, and that way he can give you a little bit of a glance here, a little bit where we kind of live. We got homestead kind of up in this neck of the woods. Down here we got two families living down here. Oh, actually there's three, but they're supposed to have their house done by now, with that screwed that all up. Then Ann and Cameron, they was wanting to get them a little shed built this year, but that's flubbed that up when they're working their summer months. But anyway, that's just kind of give you a little bit of a rundown of this operation and what the dicamba done to us. It's created one big mess for the summer, a lot of little health issues. So that's the best we can tell you about this. So we'll just call it a day and go from there. Yeah, now we're just showing you, we want to show you a couple things. That's kind of what our poor old apple tree looks like. It's really took a toll on it. And then we're going to show you what we planted here. I believe the 18th of July, we planted some tomatoes by seed just to see how they'd come up and grow and see if it was healthy to breathe the air. And then after we witnessed that they wasn't curling up dying, then we started coming out and doing some of our work. Hey, good morning. It's July the 18th out here on the little prairie. We had to destroy our garden over a bad spill of dicamba out here on the road. It is down on a county road, and anyway, it came over into our garden, which we'll have a tape on that later on here showing you the damage it did. Well, anyway, our nice big garden area, you can kind of see it. We had all this down, well, everything, claiming everything's supposed to be so really safe and all that. So the only way I can do this without going through a bunch of big tests, we got a nice new fresh bag of tomato seeds. So we're going to plant a little bit of them here in a row, cover them all a little over a 1/4 inch deep. And we'll nurse them here, and we're going to see how they turn out. And hopefully they grow up and they look nice and healthy. This is what we're hoping. And maybe this toxic fumes. Oh, there are little seeds. Oh, a bunch of little tiny ones in there. True. Well, anyway, now we're going to try to sprinkle a few of these little seeds on. They're kind of wanting to come out. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Well, anyway, there's our. Now we got to give about a 1/4 inch of earth over and we're just wanting to experiment to see how these little guys come up. Okay. Now we'll water them down and get so. Anyway, that's our little brand of our little tomatoes we're testing out here. So anyway, you can put your big clod of dirt in here. Here's how we do this. We'll put a clod of earth in here. We didn't bring us out a marker stick, so this is going to be kind of a rough deal. It's basically a test. And we're wanting to mainly see if our plants grow up and they ain't affected by that poison that wiped our garden out earlier. I mean, that was terrible. Oh, you girls, you like this? It's like planting flowers. Okay, now we got our little planting all done. Now it's just a matter of time to testing to see if this dicamba poisoning has left our little area here, which we're wanting to find out because we got a lot of work we want to do on our trails and down in the area that is polluted. And we got to see somehow if this is safe for us to even be work in the area and find this stuff out. We couldn't get them to test the air quality, so we'll figure we'll let our plants give us a little test. So from there we go, and we'll catch you, as they say, later on the trail. Hey, good afternoon. It's getting late in the day. Sun's getting about set. Highway's up to near 100 today. Nice cool day. Anyway, we're getting ready to do a little experiment in our garden. We had dicamba that pretty well killed out our first garden. Well, this is August the 2nd. We're wanting to see how bad the stuff is still in the air. And I figured, well, they wouldn't bring out any air monitoring units to see what it's like. Well, the dogs are feeling better, and we're kind of gaining back from the wreck we had. Still hacking and crap full shit swims. But anyway, I planted me some little tomatoes here a little over a week ago. I think we got it documented when we planted them. And anyway, I'm seeing how these little guys are doing. Getting ready to water them here. Oh, I'll tell you when it's on 100. I don't want to put it right on them, but I'm going to put it right beside them. And we'll give these guys a nice little watering shot here. Cracks from it. Holy shit, what's that? Oh, I'll tell you what the hit was. For the little plants, it's pretty hot. As long as it's around 72 degrees, the plants kind of love that, but when it starts getting up around 100, well, these poor little guys ain't had a chance to get growed up because they're young, but I want to see if they'll mount anything, and I'll just monitor them here. And our poor little tomato thing, it's gotten wet and it's all faded out. So anyway, that's the way we are on August the 2nd, and we'll keep a little eye on these little guys and we'll kind of see what they do. And I hope they grow up nice. And we got that dicamba bullshit out of here for next year, because this area, Betty gives you a kind of a little view of it and swings around. It's sort of a nice big area down here that we garden in. And she might make a complete circle like some of the news media should do for our little buddy Trump. And then you kind of see a little bit how big our little garden spot is. Well, when you lose a little area like this, well, we had a lot of stuff planted, you can see in our earlier clip. But anyway, that's kind of the way things are, so we'll get back with you later here. So this is Roy on the open trail, and out. Now here's some of the seeds. Mary and them were going to look up their clips so we get our dates and everything right, but we were thinking that was around the 18th of July when we planted these seeds in the ground. And I think there's, what, 12 or 14 seeds? I believe every damn one of them growed. We wanted to show you our test plot for our air quality. So we come down and we planted some little baby seedlings, and we watched them as they growed up to see if they was going to keel over and croak. And they seemed to look pretty good. So we thought, well, shit, maybe the air's getting better out here to breathe. Well, these are the tomatoes that got planted, I believe, the 18th of July. And they've got to be, oh my goodness, they're getting up here with some pretty good height to them. And they're blooming. There's tomatoes setting on in them. Now, I don't know if I'll get any tomatoes, but we've done this just for an air quality test plot. But there's tomatoes down in there on. Yeah, see, here's one. He's got some tomatoes down there. He's coming, leaving a grasshopper in there. Look at him. Get out of there. But anyway, that's kind of what was put in for a little test plot. But we thought we'd show you this area will raise one hell of a garden if somebody don't come by and accidentally poison it. But anyway, that's it. So let you know that much, and we'll go from there.